Hello, I'm Alex. Today we will talk about and analyze the macro environment of the CBANA. And they are my good members, Echo, King Kong, Gordon, and Christine. Firstly, Echo will use the textual analyze to analyze the UK and Chinese. King Kong will talk about the cultural difference between UK and China. And thirdly, Gordon will present the cultural challenge about some problem. And next, Christine will talk about the revamp strategy. And finally, I will summarize our main point. Next, I will talk about the background information. CBANA is a Chinese-based fashion company in Nanjing which sells footwear. And House of Fisher is a British department store with more than 16 outlets in the UK and Ireland. According to the report, on April 24, 2018, CBANA announced that it will become the largest shareholder of House of Fisher with 51% of the share. And this is my all contact. Welcome to Echo to talk about the part.
And thank you, Alex. Next, I will introduce one by one the comparison between China and Britain in pesto. At first, I'm going to talk about the political factors. China is the fastest growing country in the world, and Britain is the developed country in the world. And next, I'm going to talk about the economic. For the economic, China's GDP rates second in the world, and UK is almost the highest. And next, we can see this line chart. We can see in 2005, China's GDP is growing very quickly, and UK is almost keep balance. And next is the comparison of China and Britain total announced GDP, and we can see that GDP is also have a big gap between China and UK. Next is the social factors. In China, we have 1.3 billion people in our country, so it is very difficult for the young people to find a job, and the wage is also not balanced in different places. And for the UK have independent and free training of the UK, and UK also have the strong consumer markets because they have 64.1 million people in their countries. And next is the technological factors. China's government advanced innovations, and China's artificial intelligence innovation rates almost the top in the world. And Britain has the most advanced technology in the world in some fields. And next is the legal factors. Both China and UK all have the perfect factors in their countries. And last, I'm going to talk about the environment part. China's rapid economic development has consumed lots of natural research and caused the serious damage to the environment. And for the Britain's market, environment is very free and orderly. And next, I'm going to talk about the main difference between China and Britain. For the political, Britain is a capitalist country with more liberal political style than China. And next, economic, China's GDP is substantially ahead of Britain's. And social is more equal than China's social. And next is the technological. Both China and UK attach importance to technological development, then both they are the top in the world. And the environment, China's environment pollution is serious. Britain's environment is better than China. And last one is the legal. China and UK all have the huge and perfect legal system. Next, welcome King Kong to talk about his part.
Thank you, Echo. I'm King Kong. Now I'm going to talk about the cultural difference between UK and China. As we know, there are many cultural differences between UK and China. For example, the etiquette, food, and the lifestyle. When we are having class in England, we often call teachers' name, but we doesn't do that in China. And the food culture is also different between UK and China. The English people like to use potato to instead of the rice. And also, the English people like having afternoon tea, but the Chinese maybe not. And this is the influence about the cultural difference. A society's culture affects the political, economic, social, and ethical rules a firm must follow in its business dealing within that society. Next, I'm going to talk about the key dimensions of culture. There have many people has put forward their key dimension of culture, and their key dimensions of culture are all around the relation with time, human activity, human nature, relationship with people, and time. And I will talk about the Hofstede cultural dimension in brief specifically. And Geert Hofstede, he's a doctor of social humanities. He was born in 1928 in Haarlem, the Netherlands, and he has been in charge of the personnel investigation of IBM Europe. He has taught in many countries' universities, for example, the England and Hong Kong, and many universities. And in 1980, he has put forward his cultural dimensions. His cultural dimension have 5 parts: power distance, uncertainty, avoidance, individualism, masculinity, femininity, and short-term, long-term orientation. This state is talk about the cultural dimensions in China and the UK. You can see this state. The blue one is China, the purple one is the UK. First, power distance. You can see the China is 45 higher than the UK. It means that China is a socialist country. And the power distance is the strength of the societal social hierarchy, the extent to which the lower ranking individual of a society accept and expect that power is distributed unequally. It means that the Chinese people may be more follow than the rules. And the next is the individualism. You can see that the UK is 89 and it is 69 higher than the China. It means that Britain is an individualistic and it is a liberal country. So if we want to do the business in England, we must face this problem and we must to fix it. And the next, the masculinity and the uncertainty avoidance is very similar. And the last is the long-term orientation. China is 36 higher than the UK. It means that China's culture maybe is more sustainable development. And this is my part about the cultural difference between the UK and China. Next, I will introduce Gordon to talk about his part. Thank you.
Okay, thanks King Kong's speech. I will talk about the potential cultural challenges. The cultural differences can be challenging, leading to misunderstanding between employees and management, as well as between the company and its customers and partners. So from my perspective, there are 3 aspects: workplace value, communication styles, and concept of the time. So firstly, some society aspects without question the conception of the lyrical, while others demand justification for equal power. So we can see the China have the high power distance and the UK have low power distance. That means Chinese people may show more respect to their leaders, but UK's people not. So secondly, if collaboration and cooperation are strong cultural attributes, companies will reward employees as a team based on team performance. And the thirdly is the third dimension is the degree to which society feel uncomfortable with some society. So the communication steps. China have more accustomed to a less aggressive approach because of the need to build this connection. Business deals might take 5 times longer than the UK people, and the UK may straightforward and directly in the daily speech. The third is the concept of the time. The third challenge is that cultural turn to view time differently. The China maintain relationships and socializing is more important than the schedule, and the UK people value punctuality and keeping to schedules. That, for example, Chinese people have more steps than UK people. Like they have the social engagement for a business deal. They will have some dinners to. Then UK people they will have dinner and with the talking for the business deal. And UK people just have a meeting for this business deal. So that is all my parts. Next, I will invite Christine to introduce her part. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. And I will talk about the relevant strategies of cross-cultural management. And the strategies of workplace values. The first one is hire local manager. Company can use the localization strategy, which is called the principle of globalization thinking and localization action to manage. The C banner can allocate the manager from China, which can manage the employees in UK effectively. In the results of local employees and familiar with local customs and can easily reach consensus with local customers. Encourage and enable open communication channels. If the communication from the top are real and the exchange of ideas between the low level of the organization and the top is non-existent, leading to dissonance between managers and workers. And reward employees by group. Reward employees by group can motivate employees work by group. The individualism will become collective due to cooperation. Focus on the long-term relationship. Employees who notice the long-term investment in the relationship often feel more attached to the organization. In order to establish the expectation of future for workers, business should set some goals to achieve to be better rather than satisfied by current situation. And I will talk about the strategies of negotiation style. Cultural avoidance strategies. Also, the Chinese culture accounts for the subject status of the entire operation of the company, but it cannot ignore the existence of the host country culture. It should pay special attention to major differences in the culture to avoid innovation and interaction. In terms of different thinking and behavioral patterns, the parent company of the enterprise culture and the foreign branch of local culture should integrate effectively by means of various channels to promote understanding of the different cultures, which can build a new kind of corporate culture based on the parent company. Create a comfortable atmosphere. Create a comfortable atmosphere, which is the most important strategies in negotiation. The atmosphere of negotiation is direct factor that can influence the consequence of negotiation, and also it can promote the work efficiency. And next, Alice will summarize our presentation.
I sense my group members talking. Final, I will summarize our main point. Although the culture can bring more benefit to the globalization of the good, but culture difference will bring more challenge, unlike institutional differences and value difference. And although according to Hofspeak Insight, the biggest difference between UK and China are power distant individuals and induced. Maybe our Chinese more respect the teacher and the leader, but the UK more treat their teacher more like a friend, and another one, Chinese more understand of the importance of the teamwork, while the UK have more independent thinking. And this is our recommended strategy. Making a good management system to manage the employees who from the different country are the basic way. And second one is the cultural evidence. For example, when a China company send employees to a British company, they should avoid some conflict with the local country, or they can try to adapt to the local culture. And finally is the cultural innovation. Cultural innovation means embrace each other's cultures to become a new culture. And this is our presentation, and this is our reference. And thanks for watching.